Perfect.
Thank you.
I'm glad that was when they couldn't hear it.
Hello, there we are. Am I live? Yeah, we're live. All right, let me load up.
I don't know. Are we?
Very live.
Not alive. God. Stamp Guy, big fan of Stamp Guy.
I was like, at first I was a little, not against them, but I kind of was like, the introduction, I was like, uh-oh, here comes Tingle. And then was like, it was Stamp Guy instead, but yeah.
Where is Stamp Guy? What do I do? What do I gotta do to find this dude?
Gotta find a stamp thing. Your best one's probably gonna be the Oasis and Gerudo Desert will probably be your first
Yeah,
stamp.
you'll probably stump. There's also like maybe. Yeah, that's right.
think.
That's right. Yeah.
Talk to people.
Oh, I think the first one I found was actually maybe right outside the ranch, Lon Ranch, whatever it's called on this one.
Mike, can you do me a favor and for the news, write down Lunchables.
Look, I was gonna ask you about this immediately.
Oh,
to
okay,
be
fantastic,
clear.
great. We can do that.
Don't worry.
Okay.
It's gonna be the first thing I talk to you about.
Yeah, do you know that Zac Efron doesn't sing on the first High School Musical? That is fucked up.
No wonder you didn't talk to me about this. I don't know about
It's
this.
not good.
Okay.
It's not nice. What? My entire childhood has been shattered.
Okay.
They told me that a fucking I'm
gonna tweet,
Chad could be
and
a
we'll
singer.
test the music.
They lied to me.
I mean, technically, none of them are singing when they do those numbers.
What?
There's that.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff
Because
gets
it's dubbed
ADR.
over.
Yeah, most. In fact, that was like the big thing that one guy did the Les Mis movie and casted. He's like he had the system to actually record there on stage singing, and then it was fine.
What? Yes. Fuck. You know what? Fuck show business.
Boy, music
never
videos are
watching
gonna
a
blow your mind, Christian.
I'm never watching a movie ever again. Fuck this shit. I DM'd Jan and I was like, I should learn that Zac Efron didn't sing on the first High School Musical. He's like, I already knew. Of course you already. He does sing on 2 and 3 though, but 2 and 3 are. No, I don't like 2 and 3.
Which one's the? Never mind. I'm not gonna say that.
Was yeah,
No.
don't say that.
I know where he's going.
There's
But if he
that.
doesn't-
And then let's
I'm just heartbroken.
You guys hear me? Start cheering.
Hi, that's not him.
Okay. Let's see
we can
this.
reach.
Hey, you guys hear me?
You guys hear that?
We can hear.
Yep.
Yep.
Chad, I know that's quiet for you. It should be good now. I think I am ready to start. How about you, Michael Minotti?
Sure thing.
Okay.
That is my name.
Let me bring up the thing. Where did I put it? Why is it up there? I'll put it.
What is
here.
this? Oh, Nintendo.
Jeff, are we in that area of the relationship where you're the one person who calls me Michael like my mom?
Oh, I could do that. Yeah, that's fun. My brother's the one that calls me
Jeffrey?
Jeffrey. Well,
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My brother AJ has a friend who calls him Armand. And I'm like, wow, they're really close.
yeah,
That's wrong.
that's actually disturbing. Okay, I have a friend that calls me Daddy.
Don't you
One?
Yeah, many friends that I pay. All right, let's start this show in
does pay
5,
me.
4, 3.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now. Yeah, let's get this over with. Yeah.
Woof, woof. Hi, I'm Mike Minotti, and I am a Nintendog.
Hi, I'm Jeff Grubb, and I am a Nintendog.
And we are the last of the Nintendogs. Today, Nintendo shuts down another emulator. Shigeru Miyamoto disses AI. And how are we feeling about Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom after getting to play it for a few days now? Jeff, first I have to ask, what is it with you and Lunchables?
Okay, I got a conspiracy theory. Well, not a conspiracy. I just noticed something. We frequently get Lunchables for my children. This is relevant to the show. Do you know that?
Well, I'm curious to see how.
Okay, sure. So we've been getting Lunchables for the kids for years, like a couple times per week. Like they'll have Lunchables for their lunch, and for that entire time, they've had a Nintendo relationship. The Nintendo, like Mario Kart or Animal Crossing New Horizon, or not New Horizon, New Horizons. Yes, New Horizons has been included on the packaging. On the
There's
Capri
Animal
Suns.
Crossing Capri Sun?
Yes, that's literally that's what you're looking at right here. And it's been like this one is just from like a couple weeks ago. And then I noticed I was at the store the last time I went, and I just like, oh, weird, I don't see any of the Nintendo ones. And it didn't register to me that like, oh, maybe the deal is done. Maybe after 4, 5, 6 years, it's been a long time because it's been like since Mario Kart 8, I think. So that'd be like 7 years. Maybe the deal is done. And I think it's maybe noteworthy or maybe complete coincidence that the timing of the deal ended around September of this year, maybe when the Switch 2 was originally supposed to launch. And they were gonna, and so they're like, they didn't want old Switch stuff on the shelves anymore. And so the Lunchable Corporation is the key to all of this.
Oh my god! I mean, look, maybe,
probably not. But I was just like, I saw this on my counter, and it all just like flooded into my brain all at once. I'm like, well, I gotta investigate this. So I did ask on Twitter, hey, send me pictures of your local grocery store's Lunchable section. And so far, I haven't seen any that have Nintendo, the Nintendo deal on there anymore. So, look, it's the most likely scenario here is there was a deal and it just expired naturally with nothing to do with anything else. But maybe the timing of the deal was something they thought about.
Are your kids like upset about the lack of Nintendo branding on the Lunchables now?
They actually never gave a shit. It was crazy. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, isn't this cool? And they're like, it's for you, old man.
As a generation that like grew up with Ecto Cooler, I can't imagine not caring about
I know,
the
I
branding.
deeply still care about Ecto Cooler. Yeah, so I'm right there with you.
I'll tell you what, I have to go to Walmart tonight, I think, because I blew it and didn't go to a normal grocery store during the day like I was supposed to. So I'll take a look at the Lunchables there for you.
I appreciate that. So what's an abnormal grocery store?
Well, it's just Walmart past midnight or whatever when I'm there.
Oh, okay. So you're like, is the grocery section at your Walmart like subpar? Like we wouldn't get vegetables and stuff from Walmart because
No. It's all the groceries are fine. It's just that you're going to Walmart after midnight and it gets a little weird there.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah. Our Walmart does not stay open 24/7, and it really bothers me. Yeah. Because I was so used to that.
I hope mine still does. Yeah, I think ours, at least they stay open very late, so I can still go over there and see what's up. We had like an actual grocery store that was open for 24 hours for a hot moment there, and that was very nice. I liked going in there in the middle of the night. No one was there.
To be clear, I want people to take the Lunchable story and run with it. I want to see it on blogs tomorrow.
That's what you want.
That's what this is. I want that. Because who knows? It's nothing, but I think it would be, yes, it would rule if it was on Gaming Leaks and Rumors, if it was on Nintendo Life Tomorrow or whatever bullshit. I think that'd be very funny.
Somebody should look into this. It's important stuff.
Somebody should look into it. Somebody who has a connection to Lunchables and...
See, I thought it was going to be somehow related to Logan Paul's like
the
Lunchables competitor.
Yeah, that comes with Prime.
That he was that was getting promoted like while his wife's in labor or something.
Almost certainly my kids are going to come home from school one day this year and say, "Can we get the Lunchly? Can we get the Logan Paul's Lunchables?" Yeah, right.
It's kind of incredible that it's still been Lunchables all this time. They've been running roughshod on that market.
Yeah, there's like some really sad other choices on the shelf, and it's like that you have no idea what makes kids want Lunchables. This is really pathetic.
All right, Jeff, we got a lot to actually talk about here. Thank you to everybody watching the show live. You can leave a super chat while we're going. I see a lot of you over there. I don't do as good a job promoting things like the Patreon on this show as opposed to our Thursday show. But don't forget, you can go to patreon.com/GameMess to support us there.
We'll make a push later this year, early next year. We'll make a push for the Patreon and all that stuff again. Kind of remind everybody about it. Revamp it. Give it a little love. I mean, right now we treat it kind of like, if you like what we're doing, this is a way to support us. And it's still going to mostly be that, just because we're both very busy people. But always looking for ways to give it more love. We'll kind of come back and do some more fun stuff with it here pretty soon.
There are some, you go there, you get access to our secret Discord channels, and that gets you access to like the Game Mess Game Club, which is doing a game every 2 months. We're doing Resident Evil 3 Remake.
Early Columbros, yeah.
Yeah, we got Columbros there, and there's the monthly Q&A with you. So, yeah, there are things there. But, yeah,
thanks to everybody who has supported us. And we still get, every week, new people join the Patreon, and we really appreciate it. It means a lot. I see the names pop up in my email and everything, and it's very nice. And I also appreciate that everyone seems to get it. Like, this is something that is about supporting the stuff we're doing and these few extras that we can handle. And everyone is really nice about it. And I really love that.
All right, Jeff. So my first news story here, which I think is of interest to you, Ryujinx, is that how I say that, has now also been shut down by Nintendo. This was the other
Nintendo
Switch
is a group
emulator.
of thugs. They're thugs. This is infuriating. I hate this. Emulators are legal, so Nintendo's not going to sue them. They're not going to sue Ryujinx, who is it's a Nintendo Switch emulator. Mike was going to say it was the other one that's not Yuzu. Yuzu was shut down. Yuzu crossed some lines where they had a Patreon. So Nintendo was like, you used. I'm vaguely remembering. They were like, you used a picture of some stuff that we do have copyrights to. So we're going to sue you for copyright infringement for that stuff because we're going to go after you. Because even in this case, emulators are legal, although maybe they might have had some other stuff in that situation. Here, they just go to the guy who runs Ryujinx, the top person, and lean on him like thugs, like the fucking mob, and say, you need to be done. And what is it like? Maybe they did offer him money, maybe it was the offer was
literally mob stuff.
Yes,
offer them
literally,
money,
or maybe it was, boy, this sure is nice. Would be a shame if something happened to it. Like, that is literally what I imagine probably happened here, where they're like, we'll sue you if you don't stop. So if you stop, we'll walk away, and then everybody's safe and happy and lives happily ever after. This is disgusting. They need to get a grip. I'm sorry that the emulation is legal. I am, and I know that causes problems for you. I know it's going to cause problems for the Switch 2, that is going to heavily rely on backward compatibility. That sucks. I'm sorry, but that's the reality you have to deal with. And the fact that you have several lawyers and a lot of money and you can lean on people doesn't mean that it's cool when you do. Nintendo needs to stop this horse shit. It sucks.
They also went. They kind of went after a YouTuber this past week.
Retro
too,
Game Core, yeah.
For talking about emulators or showing emulation.
The reason they really started going after him is because he did a video on the MIG Switch, which is the emulation card similar to the R4 cards that worked with the 3DS. It has some very specific peculiarities about it, but whatever. He did a video about it, and it was reporting. It was educational. The guy's an excellent YouTuber. He's everything a YouTuber should be. He reported about how the thing works, what people should know about it, all that stuff. Nintendo did a copyright strike, I believe, on that video for like showing Nintendo IP in the video. So again, kind of like using the system to punish people, not necessarily for what they're doing, but finding a way to punish them anyhow. And then he did a Wii U video of the kind of like going over like the state of like what you should be doing with the Wii U now that the eShop is closed and they no longer sell Wii U's or Wii U games. And Nintendo did a copyright strike on that one as well. So he now has 2 copyright strikes against his channel. If he gets a third one, he'll lose his channel. And again, this is one of the most informative channels for the kinds of stuff that I care about, retro handhelds. He just did an excellent video on the CRT filters for like 480p screens on these handhelds. Very specific nerdy stuff that is getting a bigger and bigger audience because he does such great work. And Nintendo, once again, this is bullying. It is using their heavies to come in and scare someone away from Nintendo's turf, what they see as their turf. And it is, once again, disgusting. I'm like more and more disillusioned with Nintendo every day when they keep doing this stuff.
It sure makes you hope that they announce a Switch 2 soon, just so like these lawyers are maybe more focused about that stuff again, just instead of going after all these smaller people who aren't really doing any damage to them.
I mean, it does feel like they are sort of blazing the road. They are clearing the way and trying to set they're like trying to like reset things for the Switch 2. This is what this feels like. They want to make sure everyone knows who's the boss, like what Nintendo can and will do to you if you cross them. And so when the Switch 2 launches, they don't want people being like, hey, what the very robust and growing and healthy emulation scene for Nintendo. Look at everybody who works in this space. Guess what? There's a Switch 2. We're all going to jump over to the Switch 2. They want to discourage that. That's clearly like the number one goal. The number 2 goal is to protect game sales for backward compatibility. They don't want to have videos of, let's just say Breath of the Wild still runs better on a Steam Deck than Switch 2. They're going to hate that. And it's, wait, well, whose fault would that be in that case? That's yours. Make your stuff better. And then clearly I think they just want to make people afraid of like, well, should we get together and start working on this new thing that is kind of related to Nintendo? No, they want to like chill the entire a community scene that has been part and parcel with video games from the 90s, even before that, but certainly since the 90s. And it's, to me, this is part of gaming. This is a huge reason that I am still interested in this hobby, is because there are people who see these things and they are like, okay, great, I love playing these games right now. I'm already going to start worrying about a long-term preservation of these video games, and we're going to get to work on that. And that gives me like hope for the future. And Nintendo is destroying that piece by piece throughout all these moves, just because they want to make sure people don't take a nickel from them every time they make $1 selling Switch 2 stuff.
Talking about the Switch 2 real quick, it is October 1st. You think this is the month? You think there's any chance
I don't
we hear about this thing?
There's a chance. I mean, again, it does feel like they are priming the pump here, but who knows? That the lawyers could just be kind of getting, like, the lawyers could be doing their own thing because they know it's coming, not necessarily knowing exactly when it'll come. And then Nintendo will just make the choice about when it's best to announce the thing whenever. Clear, it didn't happen in September. It could happen in October, but it feels like with, Mario Party Jamboree and Mario and Luigi Brothership still to come, maybe they are going to just announce it next year.
I would hope December.
December could happen.
If it was late this year, that's one thing. God, there's going to be a part of me that's going to feel a little bit like, oh, we go through the whole year and there still isn't an official word on the Switch 2. It's getting kind of wild. Yeah. Shigeru Miyamoto's talked about AI, saying Nintendo would rather go in a different direction. This was with an interview with the New York Times, where Miyamoto's talking to a lot of people as that museum there is opening. The quote here is, "It might seem like we are just going the opposite direction for the sake of going the opposite direction, but it really is trying to find what makes Nintendo special. There's a lot of talk about AI, for example. When that happens, everyone starts to go in the same direction, but that is where Nintendo would rather go in a different direction." It's actually like, it is kind of like it's being set up here like, well, because everyone else is doing it, so we don't want to. Part of me kind of wish he'd be like, yeah, because it seems like it fucking sucks. Is why we don't want to.
Yeah, that just wouldn't be Miyamoto's way, right? I think this is Miyamoto's way of saying it does suck. Because if it was a fascinating technology, he'd be like, we're going to use it, but in the Nintendo way. That's not what he's saying. He's like, nothing involving using that seems like something that would lead to a product that Nintendo would be happy with or proud of. And I can appreciate that. It's hard to imagine like what that would look like, right? Like Nintendo building something with that. I mean, I guess maybe saving some time, and they love saving money. But I don't think that they're like, they think that those tools are actually going to lead to that.
And to be clear, like it's always so weird when you talk about AI in gaming now, because we're talking about AI, the buzzword,
the
and not
generative
AI,
the generative art
that
tools
has existed in gaming forever. But the idea of generative AI, imagine echoes of wisdom, but instead you're creating generative slop everywhere you go, or something like that, and how upsetting that could be. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm with Guillermo del Toro, who recently said, and he's like, it can create somewhat compelling screensavers. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of how I felt about everything so far. When I see 1950s Panavision Harry Potter trailer, like, well, I'll watch that for 30 seconds while I'm eating lunch. Whatever. They did a weird hot version of Hermione from the 1950s. I want to see what that looks like. And then it's weird. And everybody moves in a way that is disconcerting, and actually I feel kind of sick to my stomach when I get done watching it, but it was semi-compelling. So Nintendo's had a lot of success going their own way. Obviously, I think that's what he's really trying to say. And then I think the other side of it is he's probably not feeling pressure from those around him in the executive leadership of Nintendo to embrace AI tools, because I think they're like, they don't really believe in it. So if they did, he would probably just be being quiet right now and trying to convince them that it's not the right way. I think this is him signifying that they looked at it and they're like, they don't believe in it. And also they probably see copyright issues, so they don't want to touch it.
And then, it's funny. I never thought that Dan Riker was much of a journalist, but our boy got us a very big scoop. Really appreciate his groundwork covering this one at the Nintendo Museum, where he recently got us the preview of that. And he discovered, there's all these murals talking about all the different Nintendo series, and he looked at the one for Mario, which, you know, showing all the mainline Mario games, and no Yoshi's Island on that. Turns out that Yoshi's Island is in fact a Yoshi game, because it's over in its own section with the different lineage of Yoshi titles. Pretty shocking stuff here, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, it says Super Mario World 2 on the box that someone just made in America, right? And it doesn't.
Not only in the U.S., Mike. Don't spread fake news now.
Not in Japan.
Right, there you go.
No, in Japan, it's Super Mario Yoshi's Island. It's always
just
Mario
like Super Mario Strikers or something like
I
that.
do,
right?
I do think it's. I mean, it's not. I know why Dan does it, because it's a game. It has Game Boy in the name of the system, but on the Game Boy Advance, it's like Super Mario. What else? Like Super Mario Advanced 2 Yoshi's Island or whatever.
Oh, right. So, it's like, yeah, Super Mario. I think it's Super Mario Advance 3 Yoshi's Island, and Super Mario Advance 4 is Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yes, exactly. Like, so they treated it very much like part of the Mario franchise at that time. I think it's muddy still. This is not my, like, the one where I super care about. I think I've ended up on your side of the argument, because I don't think that WarioWare is a Mario game, because
I mean Wario Land.
Wario Land, thank you. Yeah, I don't think Wario Land is a Mario game, and I think it's pretty similar to that. But they've clearly decided over time that no, this is its own thing. Put it over there, and I think Dan's really eventually gonna have to accept this. And I say that, I know that'll never happen.
Yeah, but I mean, do you think? I mean, maybe he won't tell us. Do you think he's accepted that Mario Wonder and Mario 3D World?
He's been very quiet about those, so yes,
Yeah.
I think what happened was that if you were to kind of bring those up now, I think he'd be like, I never said that. I think he would deny ever thinking that at this point.
I mean, we established that he's bad at this because we were all there for that presentation on Echoes of Wisdom, and he was like literally sitting there thinking in his head, well, this isn't a mainline Zelda game. And then the next slide was literally our new mainline Zelda game. And he's like, well, I guess it's right then.
Yep.
But I'm like, yes, Dan, but the point is that it proves that you're bad at this.
Right,
You don't
exactly.
know what a mainline game is.
And he's even like admitted to us. He's like, when I think when he was playing Super Mario Brothers Wonder, he's like, why do I make these different boxes for these games? And he didn't have an answer to that, which has been the thing that's always really bothered me.
Right.
It's like,
He's
why?
like, I don't know why.
Why does it matter?
His only explanation for why Wonder's not a mainline Mario game is that, well, it went 3D, so it can't go back to 2D. It's like, why not?
Yeah, that's crazy. But I'm glad. The best part is he was the one there to see it and report on it. That is choice.
Good. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you know, I definitely appreciate again the groundwork here. All right,
Sorry, Chiller in chat's just like, he said Mario Wonder wasn't mainline. Yeah, you see what we deal with. Yeah.
Why don't we take a quick break? We'll come back. We'll read these super chats.
Okay, and hopefully we have some more breaking news about Lunchables.
All right, break, I guess. Thank you for the last news. Was very important for the industry.
Yes, I agree.
Very relevant to everyone.
I agree.
Relevant and important, and yeah, we all care about it, and nobody fell asleep during that.
I'm good.
Are we good? Are we really
Shit,
good?
dude, we're missing the VP debate.
I'm good to
I'm
go.
ready.
Yeah, we're saving people from
I
the Veep debate.
Actually, you joke. All right, let's go.
Hi, Nick. I did meet you. And we're back. Jeff, would you please read the super chats?
I guess, just since you asked so
Please.
politely. Let's see here. Let me scroll to the top. And let's start with Simon from Saskatchewan for this time. 2 beat-em-up questions. Have you played the new G.I. Joe one yet? I didn't know it came out. And ever heard of the old SNES Cliffhanger one? Like the one based on the movie? Was that a beat-em-up? I've definitely played that game. But I thought it was a side-scrolling action game like a lot of those movies, but maybe I'm misremembering it.
I'm trying. I don't know if it's literally that cliffhanger because I haven't seen the movie or played the game, but I think I've seen videos of it, and I don't remember it being a beat 'em up.
He said it's clunky but fun. Thanks for all the content. It helps me get through through my day with a smile. Glad to hear it, Simon.
Yeah, is that new G.I. Joe one? It does seem like that got a little bit lost in the mix. It looks like it might actually be out. The Wrath of Cobra, even though it looks very much in the vein of Shredder's Revenge and the upcoming Power Rangers one. Yeah, this one seems to be getting a little bit lost in shuffle. I was never a big G.I. Joe guy, I have to admit.
Same.
But
I was like, Was it before even my time? It seems like it was before even me.
It was a little bit. I mean, it was like maybe happening as I was born, but it was very 80s. And most of the cartoons I really remember, like being born in 86, are honestly like very late 80s or early 90s, like the Disney Afternoon stuff and Nicktoons. That's really my era, more so than these super toy driven things like this and Transformers and He-Man. That wasn't really my time.
Yeah, Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, then sort of that order.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, of course, was like the biggest thing in the world when I was a kid.
Real Ghostbusters was massive, but G.I. Joe was a little bit before my time. I've always been like, that seems interesting. I think maybe I would have liked it had I seen it, but having not seen it, I do not have much affinity or curiosity about G.I. Joe. Tell you what, though, this reminds me that there is a game I keep getting emails about. They're like a new Mario-like platformer, and then I click on it.
I got that email too.
Fucking Smurfs, right?
It's Smurfs.
I looked at the trailer. Doesn't look too bad. Now, it's Microids, so it almost certainly is that bad. Microids continue to be number one on the publishers that sound like venereal diseases. But I'm like, I want to check out G.I. Joe, and I think I want to check out Smurfs. So maybe we'll have an 80s, 70s, or those 70s cartoons week at Giant Bomb.
Something like that. I mean, Smurfs was definitely in reruns. Might be very early 80s Smurfs, because I did see Smurfs. G.I. Joe Wrath of Cobra has a 68 open critic right now. Not a whole lot of reviews. Looks like the embargo for reviews was at least on the 26th.
Okay.
Can read another
I'm going to read all. Sure. Simon from Saskatchewan comes back. It says, question for Jeff. Which annoys you the most of these three? Gray is not a color, Mike ripping GameCube discs out of the console, or Dan thinking Link's Awakening is one of the worst Zelda games? They're kind of all tied in some ways. Like,
really? I thought I was in the clear here for sure.
I will say that's the one that bothers me the least, because it's so fun that you did that, and we're like that's just great, because it's like now we all just have this moment where we teach Mike about this thing, and he gets to like, and then watching you rip the stuff out of there is like hit the button. That's fun. Gray's not a color definitely bothers me, but Dan thinking Link's Awakening is one of the worst Zelda games is. Like, it bothers me, but it's just like, God, Dan and his weird Game Boy hang-ups. Like, what do I do about that? I kind of have to just
Game
ignore
Boy
it.
hang-ups. It was just that he didn't really have one, or he didn't play one much for whatever reason.
He said he thought it sucked, but maybe it's because he didn't have one. I mean, I'm sure. Listen, that screen it was never good, but it's what I had, so I just got used to it.
Good enough.
It's good enough.
Know better.
Have you looked at one recently? I tried to look at a Game Boy as an adult and actually play a game on there, and I just couldn't.
Yeah, we are pretty spoiled now. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I will say, even when the Game Gear was out, there was a bit there. It's like, I gotta go back to this, huh? But you did, because there were a lot of good games on there, especially Pokemon Mania. And even though it wasn't backlit, the Game Boy Pocket screen was certainly a little bit easier to look at.
Oh, sure. Things got better there pretty quickly. Or it felt quickly. Like a Dylan said, Jeff, you need to see Megalopolis. It's incredible. I had a blast watching it. It's baffling start to finish with so many wild choices. Yeah, I like a movie that is, I don't know, it sounds like the biggest budget version of The Room to me. And that
I heard that. I heard people saying that. What if The Room, but with budget?
Yeah, that sounds very exciting to me. So I will find a way to track down and watch this movie. I'm
just reading the Box Office Mojo summary of this movie, because I don't know what it's about. The city of New Rome hosts a conflict between Caesar Catalina, a brilliant artist in favor of a utopian future, and the greedy Mayor Franklin Cicero. Oh, God. His name's actually Cicero. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Did you... Okay, I can't remember who... it was... Can't remember his name. It's not coming to me. But he said, what if SimCity had cutscenes directed by Hideo Kojima? And it's like, okay. Yeah, now I have to see it.
Incredible.
All right, let's see here. Laser Wolf. Finally here live to ask Jeff, is Jared Goff the greatest dual threat QB wide receiver in the history of the NFL? Let's go Lions. Yeah, it was incredible to watch him score a touchdown by catching a pass. It was a lot of funny tweets where someone's like, if you got Jared Goff lined up against a linebacker, you got to take advantage of that. And I thought that was very funny. Dr. Ryan said, I got my Galactic Star Cruiser tattoo today. Incredible. Which counts as a Disney Parks tattoo. Mike, when are you getting a Parks tattoo, and of what?
I don't have any tattoos. I probably will never get one. The only one I've ever thought about getting is so in Epcot, all the different pavilions or attractions have their own kind of circular logo, and they're very simple designs. And I really like the one for Spaceship Earth. So like maybe when I turn 40, I'll get that somewhere. That's the only tattoo I've ever really considered. So of course it is a Disney Parks tattoo. We'll see.
Tramp stamp, tramp stamp, tramp stamp.
Let's fucking go.
Screaming Madden says, beat Donkey Kong Country for the first time on Sunday, and certain levels aside, I had a really good time. DAT music is pretty impeccable. Yeah, the game still holds up.
Yeah, and Gangplank Galleon at the end is great. If you haven't played Donkey Kong Country 2 yet, it's even, I think it's a little bit better even, so just jump right into that.
All right, Adam GC says, what's happening, Beef and Cheddar boys? I want to give some love this week to Earthbound, which is finally clicking after years of false starts, and Retro Bowl 25. I have Retro Bowl. Is Retro Bowl 25 different, Adam GC? I'm enjoying like the recent updates to Retro Bowl.
It would be like 20. Why would it be 2025 if football doesn't really work like that? So I don't know. Why is it Retro Bowl 25?
Football it does work like that because the Super Bowl.
So today's Madden, like the Madden came out this year is Madden 25.
Right, because the Super Bowl will be in 2025. So they do it like that, and then it's
I see. Okay.
Baseball is the one that doesn't because the whole season happens within the calendar year.
That's why it's the best sport. Yeah. Makes more sense.
I don't know about that one. Yeah, baseball is the one that always confuses everybody else because every game is the
go Tigers. Year. They are up one game in their best of 3 series, and if they win tomorrow, Mike, they play the Cleveland Guardians in the next series. So I'm very excited.
Yes, we're just gonna make that happen.
Yep. Let's see.
I want that for me for Earthbound so bad. I've had a lot of false starts. I wanted to click for me, and I haven't really had time to give it another try anytime soon here. But eventually, it's gonna happen.
Dr. Ryan, are you hacking my MLB.TV account? Because every day I get back on there, and the Padres have been set as my favorite team again, and I have to reset it to the Tigers. It's driving me crazy.
Incredible.
All right, I think I'm at Antonio Morales, who says, "Can you believe it's been over a year since Jeff pronounced Persona 4's Rise as Rise?"
No!
I still watch that stream to this day.
Just give it like another try.
Persona 4S.
No, Persona 4's. It's just a missing apostrophe. The character's name. How do you pronounce that?
Oh, Rize?
There you go.
There we go.
Okay, but I mean, out of context, how the fuck would I don't know that's a person.
The problem is that you should play Persona 4 because it rules.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, if you want to shame me, that's fine.
I will.
That's what this show's about.
I was betting on him mispronouncing it again.
You're welcome, everybody. I give gifts here. Chucktowski says, I was pretty upset today over the Rio Jinx news. Me too, Chucktowski. You're actually the one who pinged me and showed me that. It set such a poor precedent for slap suits against small fries. It really even affects smaller game studios. This and the patent thing. I'm bummed. Yeah, it sucks. And I know there's like always going to be like there's people who get my DMs lawyers, and I appreciate them. I do. But they'll be like, well, in the year 2000, sure, there was a case where it's like emulators are legal because of fair use arguments. But fair use has changed since then. And I appreciate all that. But it's like as far as everyone's been operating, including Nintendo, emulators are legal. Like, now I get that there might be some wiggle room, and there's always the chance a court case could come around and someone could fight it, and all that stuff could be lost, and that precedent could change. But everyone operates today as if emulators are legal, even the ones that would have every reason to hate them. And so them kind of like stepping over this line to try to shut this stuff down through other means continues to be just devastating and bad for the scene and bad for the long-term health of gaming. Adam Wilson says 2 years, Beef and Cheddar boys, a member for 24 months in the Lincoln.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you so much, Adam. We appreciate that. Visualizer says, I've been a Nintendo baby since 1990, but I can't get behind this. All hype I had for Switch 2 has evaporated with how they've been acting lately. When you're DMCA and sheet music, you've lost the plot. Yeah, they did that too as well, didn't they?
Right, God, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like the lawyers are kind of taking over a little bit. And I'm sure a lot of that is at the direction of the leadership of the company. I'm sure most of it is. But them turning to the lawyers every day and saying, "Here, go after this, go after this." But what's the difference? It just feels like the lawyers are in charge, and that's not a good place for a company, a creative company, to be. L. Grug says, how will Jeff sabotage Mike and Blight Club this week? And why will Mike get revenge by helping Jeff in his Blight Club game when Jeff doesn't read stuff?
I can't help it. I'm naturally nice and a good person.
I
Not
thought
like my cohorts.
I thought I was helping. Listen, I got hurt worse out of that because I had to buy Dan Riker pizza with my human money. So
this is your own fault. I don't want to mess around too much. I gotta get over to Pittsburgh to see AEW right after Blight Club, and the sooner I finish it, I think the sooner I can go to Opera House first and get some big German beers. So
I want to see the celebratory beer. That'll be great.
Yeah, so I'm not messing around no more.
Okay, well, we'll see how that goes. What if it's truly catastrophic and you can't finish it yet again?
It has been getting worse. It's somehow been getting worse.
It's falling apart at the seams. It really is.
Yeah, but sometimes it seems like the kind of game where like the final boss is complete, or final whatever bosses were kind of out of fashion at this time, if I recall correctly. The final whatever is super trivial and stupid.
Oh, sure. That could definitely happen. Dibbity Dab. I'm not just saying that. That's the person's name.
It's like, dippity dab. It's like, Jeff, you have a stroke? Are you okay?
Playing Zelda with my 3-year-old. The first time we got to the overworld, he asked, why is this game so wiggly? It took me a minute to realize he was talking about the terrible frame rate fluctuations.
The children know. The children know. Your child has strong eyes.
Strong, healthy eyes. Probably never will wear sunglasses. It's bad. I'm used to it, unfortunately, as I'm playing the game. I don't know. Is it still bothering you, Mike?
I'm always like a little bit more lenient with these things on handhelds, especially a Switch. I don't know if it's just years of having kind of certain expectations there. It's noticeable and it's a bummer. It's not like Pokemon was like the one time where I was like, I'm just not playing this game. I just can't even do it. It's not that. It's a bummer, and it feels like it should be better than this, or there's a better solution at least. But I can play the game.
Yeah. All right. Mello says, do you think the lack of PS5 Pro updates for games like Final Fantasy 16 and God of War Ragnarok are due to the recent PC releases and Sony hoping people will double dip?
I don't know if it's like that well thought out. I'm not sure what the reason could possibly be.
Yeah, I kind of go back to maybe thinking that Square Enix's relationship with Sony has become so transactional that maybe they're like, well, if we're not getting paid to make that version better, we'll just do that when we get time. And instead, we should focus on the PC version. And so they probably just were putting money and time and effort into that version, and that left no time to get ready for the PS5 Pro, unless Sony was going to be like, we are going to pay you again to feature your games once again for the PS5 Pro, and I bet Sony's lost their appetite for that as well. So yeah.
Weird World of War though, like World of War Ragnarok not being first party. And
Ragnarok. I don't know. I was thinking of Final Fantasy, but for Ragnarok, it probably just is resources, right? It probably just is. They were focused on the PC version, which I think is probably the answer for Final Fantasy 16 as well, though. To be fair. Arnold Schwarzenegger says, been working out with my son-in-law Chris a lot, and he's really been focusing on his leg workouts. He says it's to help him with stopping all those chalupas. What is he talking about? Arnold, you got a lot to learn from a real gamer.
Incredible! You resisted the urge to do the accent.
Yeah, I was enjoying it too much.
Sad you didn't do it though.
I was just like so excited about where it was going, and I was like, I'm just looking forward to that.
I kind of want a chalupa now, though.
Chalupas are very good.
Remember they were new?
Yes, I do.
It was when they still had that dog talking about it. It was Viva Chalupa.
Yokiro Taco Bell, Viva Chalupa.
Yeah, Yokiro Taco Bell. I'm shocked that hasn't come back yet. Everything comes back, but not that fucking dog. I feel like that was a turning point for Taco Bell, personally.
This is a good point. How do you feel? Like, have you been watching a lot of TV with commercials in the last year, or any
not really.
TV? Was watching sports because I've been watching football every week, and Geico cavemen are back, and I don't get it.
They are, but no, I do. I get those commercials just in front of something I'm watching. I can't remember.
I just don't. I don't understand the jokes that they're trying to tell. I guess
it's the same joke. It's been the same joke every time.
Yeah.
It's just that they don't want to hear about Geico because 50 years ago or whatever, they said it was so easy even a caveman can do it.
Right.
So like, don't bring up Geico in their presence, or else they'll like look annoyed. That's the joke, I guess.
Yeah, and it's like it's just like they're like selling it like in a very subtle way sometimes. I don't know. It's weird.
Right. It goes weird because they have a million things, and like even that gecko's better than this. Just keep showing us that gecko, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should watch the caveman sitcom that they made.
We
There's, like,
definitely
3
should do
episodes
that. Yeah, maybe if we reach a certain threshold on the Patreon, we'll do a special one-off episode reacting to the Caveman Show.
Big esport sponsors.
Yeah, of course.
Geico.
Uriel Delgado said Year of Luigi was so bad that Disney lost $200 million on the Lone Ranger. What makes you think? So when can I start?
Makes you think.
Oh, makes you think. Yeah, sorry. Makes you think. So when can I start bidding on the Rayman IP? I have plans.
Isn't Rayman's like a weird, like washed up, like BoJack Horseman type character in some cartoon show or something right now? Have you ever seen this?
No, really? I would like to see that.
What are
That
you
sounds
talking about?
incredible.
It's like there's some kind of show on Netflix that's based on some other Ubisoft thing. I don't know. And Rayman's in it, like a BoJack Horseman character or something. It seems weird to me.
I think that's a really good. I mean, clearly Duke Nukem is the one you should do that to the most, but that's funny to do it to Rayman.
Is Rayman sad that he doesn't have arms connected to his hands?
Maybe. I've only ever seen one clip of it, and he's like, it's like him after a bender, and his agent's talking to him, and he gets mad because like, I don't
Is it the Chip and Dale movie? Because there's a lot of that kind of humor in the Chip and
No,
Dale
it's some
movie.
actual Captain Laserhawk. Thank you, Straw Hat NBC. Something called Captain
That
Laserhawk.
sounds familiar. Is that on Adult Swim?
I think it might be a Netflix joint or something,
Okay.
and a disheveled
wait.
Rayman is in it.
Is
A
Captain
French
Laserhawk?
American adult animated television series produced by Ubisoft.
Yes,
So there you go.
that's right. It's in the whatchamacallit? Yeah, the Blood Dragon show. It's the Blood Dragon show. Like Far Cry Blood Dragon.
Yeah, Rayman's in it.
Okay, weird. All right, I guess I'll watch that.
I don't know if anybody likes it.
That doesn't matter. All right, Mike, that's it for the super chats. Back to you.
All right, let's take a break. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the Nintendo Museum, or at least what we maybe would like to see there after we come back from this.
All right, break. Remember that time Mike got mad at you because you retweeted a Kotaku article about the Chip and Dale movie? He got really pissed off at you.
I don't remember, but it all sounds
I don't
plausible.
remember. What did
Yeah,
Kotaku say? They say that
because
it's a soulless
Yes.
IP march or something.
no, the article was about look at the ugly Sonic on this movie. And you were like, you spoil ugly Sonic for me.
Oh, right. Yeah, well, yeah. In my
got really
defense, that was a bit much. That movie wasn't even out yet. Give it a moment.
It was out already, but yeah,
Yeah, it was like out for a
fine.
day then. I changed my mind. That's what I was upset about.
He was really upset.
Did you watch the Chip and Dale movie?
What's that?
Spoiled.
Did you watch it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty
Oh,
good, right?
It's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I really like
There's
it. I wouldn't even
I'll be honest, I
watch
was wishing
it
you
One
said
second,
no,
didn't spoil it to me.
so I could be
One
like,
second. Something important for the podcast. There's a visual element to this one, Jeff. I don't know if you want to set that up with the thing. Some people have like pictures and stuff.
yeah, sure. Let me get that going right now.
I'm just saying, maybe spoilers are good for stuff.
Oh, for sure.
What? No,
shut the
it wasn't good
fuck
for
up.
that.
It's a really
All
good
right,
point.
let's rehash this 2 years old conversation because I think
It's
that
not a
happened.
conversation. You two are just wrong.
I think it's a very
You're
interesting
not
point.
wrong because nobody was going to watch that movie if fucking people
Oh,
started talking
so
about
you think the only
ugly
reason that
Sonic.
movie did well or did the numbers it did was because Ugly Sonic leaked from it?
Yes.
Yes.
No, not even remotely.
You're denying my experience of having once enjoyed something more because I got spoiled by it. So you can't deny my reality.
happened-
I experienced it. That's real.
Your
That's real to
reality
me.
is that you're an idiot. We all know this.
Yeah, but
Happened to me
but
1,000 times.
idiots deserve to enjoy stuff. I'm still loading this up, Mike. Don't
That's
worry.
true too.
Very
Both
good.
can be true.
Yes.
I just choose to use it derisively in this version of
But
the
it's like-
story.
Where's the
Confirm,
damn
it's
browser?
proof that is.
Oh, there it is.
Why do you think people rewatch this shit all the time?
That's not
Because
right.
nostalgia is a hell of a drug. They like feeling good about the things that
Exactly.
they've.
No, that's not true. Well, yeah, it is, but also because like people like to see the journey of this shit, know the fucking twist at the end.
Christ.
I am ready. Let me get the right thread, and then I'll be good. Oh, is this breaking? There we go. Podcast thread.
You know who knew this shit? Hollywood 20 years ago when the trailers were just straight up the entire movie.
Yeah, and movies made more money back then. So just
And
scientifically,
movies-
empirically.
Yes, Mooney, that's it. They were called Moonies because they're movies that made money.
Yeah, they made moves. All right, I think I'm good over here. Let's do it.
Let's just fucking do it.
All right, we're back. So Jeff, I asked our community. I'm going to ask you right now. What exhibit would you most like to see at the Nintendo Museum? We heard a bit about what things are there, but let's fantasy book a little bit at the Nintendo Museum. Is it something that you kind of wish would be there?
Yeah.
Isn't?
You know the Nixon tapes?
Yeah.
I want that for Yamauchi. I want all of, like, every time he yelled at somebody, every time he used a slur, every time he, like, did some crazy shit and fired someone or
called
some secretary sugar tits, because that's just what it was, the era he lived in. I want
the sugar tits era.
The sugar tits era. Yeah, I want all of that. I want all of the dirt, every terrible thing Yamauchi ever did. Just like transcribed. I want the videos playing, like, or the audio tapes playing on a loop when you walk into a room and you just hear him berating some poor kid or something like that. Yeah, that's what I want. Give me more Yamauchi.
Kind of something like I wish, like, there actually, like, would be stuff about, like, you know, Nintendo in court, like, with the Mortal Kombat stuff or with the Donkey Kong stuff, especially, right? Like, that was actually pretty
They're
interesting.
probably building their own museum to Nintendo in court. Like, that's like the lawyers get their own.
It's a whole
It'd
different
be
building.
way bigger. Yeah.
It's a whole separate thing.
Yeah.
I love that. Got you ready here with the community?
Yeah, I got it ready right here.
Lorul immediately made it horny and said, "Is a young Impa VR simulator off the table?"
I mean, look, if the cops show up, we got to pretend it's something else, but otherwise,
yeah. I mean, I feel like young Impa got, like, you know, the Simpsons meme with the lambs. I feel like young Pura came along and really erased young Impa from history there.
Yeah,
I support it.
Sure, I think young Pura, very good stuff, absolutely. But hey, you know what? I'm happy to see old Impa in Echoes of Wisdom. So there you go.
I don't only like girls when they're hot and young.
Okay, sure. My bad. Excuse me.
Chill out. No, Brad Pitt.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio. Tommy Pencil says, uncensored, it is dubious food from the Zelda games. It would be kind of incredible if there was dubious food. What's the bad milkshake? It's not called questionable milkshake in Echoes of Wisdom. It's just called, like,
it has.
It's not called dubious milkshake. It's questionable milkshake or something like that.
I think that's right. Yeah, it is blurred out like this as well.
Mm-hmm. Casual says a Minish Cap exhibition where everything is huge and you feel tiny. Oh, that would be fun. Yeah, I would enjoy that. And Jeff,
that's a good one.
You get lost in there because of the Capcom game design.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it just doesn't make logical sense. It's designed in a way that's just so obtuse.
Yeah. By the way, this thread is named Zelda Museum. Sorry, Mike, you told me that, and I put that.
I immediately told you I meant Nintendo.
Oh, my bad. I don't pay
I immediately said not Zelda, Nintendo.
Oh, my bad.
It's only Zelda.
It's only
Zelda.
Somebody
Oh,
told me.
Look at all these. All these replies are Zelda.
Yeah, somebody told me, did you mean Zelda? And I was like, no. Did you mean Nintendo? I was like, hell no, I meant Zelda. So, my bad. That person was right.
I want people to see the text. It was literally right after I said it, I was like, I said Nintendo Museum, not Zelda Museum. But you're like, okay.
I was busy, okay?
All right, let's pretend it's just a Zelda museum now, I guess. That's all it is.
Good for our audience to be able to follow directions. Bad for us not being able to do that.
Reveal the Christian tapes, Willoughby. Tractor says it's just Bruce probably running out of ideas since it's so limited in what we can pull from here. The Astro Wolf says a playable version of the Breath of the Wild NES demo though is at GDC. That would actually be great.
That should just be there. That's kind of an oversight that stuff like that's not there.
Gas Buckaroo says every piece of concept art that has never been published. Yes, probably. I wonder how much concept art is there in its current form.
Yeah, I'll say there's not Nintendo related, but some Video Game History Foundation news should be popping off about this very thing here pretty soon. It seems pretty exciting stuff's happening over there.
Okay, interesting. Villain Mac just has Zelda resting on a bunch of beds precariously, just balanced over a waterfall. It's just nice. So that would be a good interactive experience. Ali Miracle has the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker switchboards. Yeah, they're just at a museum. They're behind glass. Fuck you. You can't play them. That'd be good. Evil Janice says a recorded meeting of the Japanese marketing department scheming and laughing at the West as they make up the timeline on the fly in a subsequent meeting where they threw it all out the window for Breath of the Wild and then doubling down for Tears of the Kingdom. I would love over the top evil laugh, maybe even a Dr. Evil finger to the mouth. Is there like that? Okay. I don't know what your appetite is for these timeline discussions, Jeff, but do you get any sense that there's any consideration for Echo of Wisdom's placement in the timeline, or is it just, once again, who cares about that?
Oh, no, definitely. It gives you a strong sense of where Nintendo places on the timeline, which is, it doesn't give a fuck. It doesn't care. They don't care.
It's pretty clear that like Zelda and Link have never met each other.
Yeah,
so it's like,
and the game makes a bunch of like fun like references in terms of like where things are placed, and if you recognize something, maybe if you move it, there will be a reference down on if you go down there and stuff like that. It's playing around in the way that it should be. They don't care, and that's exactly what they want you to take away from this.
Daniel says, rage room full of pottery. JK, some kind of exhibit with instruments that lets you play the music from the games is my real answer. No, forget your real Wii Music answer. I want the rage room.
Rage room, yeah.
Ben JC says, sky diving. Yeah, they could have one of those like giant fan things, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Would you do that instead of like real sky? I know you wouldn't do real skydiving.
Yeah, no,
right?
I assume I'd still get hurt somehow. Like skydiving, I would actually imagine I'm less likely to get hurt.
Sure.
I just won't like the sensation. The big fan, the sensation, whatever, but I think I'm going to hurt myself more likely.
Right, you'll get flung off to the side or something, sure.
I'm just going to like eat shit on the ground somehow. Screaming Madden says every piece of Goron rock roast to view and to eat. Do you want to eat that rock?
I find it appetizing, yes.
Mm-hmm. Ezipsa says, I like to see any concept art or pre-visuals they had for the canceled Netflix Zelda TV show. Like, canceled is maybe even like, yeah, like, who knows how much there was? There's had to be something, which is, it would be curious to see, right?
Right, the thing is, like, it leaked, and so Nintendo's like, well, screw you, and pulled out. Like, that's the story we've heard. Who knows what work they actually got done there. I'm sure there's been some pitches and stuff. I would like to see those.
Willow Davis says, in my mind, I'm here. This is the Zora cave from Ocarina of Time.
Gotta say, it
Zora's
just looks
domain.
like random N64 place, which I'm fine with.
It is the most N64 looking place you can imagine.
Yeah.
Those blurry textures
Yeah,
and
I love it.
gosh. Slane says the Tingle Zone, everything you wanted and didn't want to know or see about the best Zelda character. Man, just calling it the Tingle Zone just makes it sound problematic.
Listen, if you want to hang out with a bunch of guys dressed up like Tingle and have a fun night, I can make that happen for you. Just give me a call.
Eden says each game exhibit to have the music from that game playing on cycle and some excellent sound engineering to prevent them from bleeding over between rooms. I know Dan said how much he likes that they do just play music constantly, but I wonder, like, is there much of like a museum aspect to music? Is there history music? Is there a Koji Kondo area, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think he did say that every display has very directional audio. So in the same room, as you're walking in front of kiosks, you'll get blasted with the sounds of each display, like as if it's like in its own little cocoon.
Jack E. Lantern says history.
No,
Good luck with that.
no, not allowed.
Mr. Bowler says an examination of the early prototyping and planning phases of major entries in the series, especially for Ocarina of Time and Breath of the Wild. Yeah, like we know Ocarina of Time was like at one point a first-person game even and things like that. So yeah, being able to see a lot of actual prototypes for stuff would be really neat.
Yeah, I think that's the fact that this isn't really a history museum. It is instead a history of, or a museum of Nintendo's ideation sort of thing. This is the stuff that I most missed is the because they have prototype hardware. They don't have a lot of prototype games, at least based on what Dan talked about.
Octo says Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on Switch, running at 60 FPS next to a bag of Grubb's hair and a sign that says "RIP."
Yeah, it seems fair. I have that. I can donate that to the museum. I should just send that to the Nintendo Museum.
Yeah, they need that.
Yeah.
That's important. Hosp says the elevators designed around Tears of the Kingdom's ascendability.
Just slurp you through their floors somehow.
Slurp us.
What'd you go to Japan for? To get slurped.
I got slurped, baby.
got
We
slurped.
talked about slurp earlier. Man,
Yeah,
it's a
it's a
slurp
fun
kind
word.
of day. Resident Evil Cryosis just has the ZDI Zelda games. I know that they acknowledge the live-action Mario movie. They acknowledge Virtual Boy. I bet they do not acknowledge the CDI partnership.
You don't think so? Maybe not the partnership. I wouldn't be surprised if these games are just in there somewhere, but just like the similar to the Mario movie, with like just a disc.
I hope so, but who knows? Joy Z says Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 2. I mean, we got Majora's Mask, and we also got the second quest, whatever that was eventually called. Master Quest, or whatever the DD thing was going to be for Ocarina of Time.
Mm-hmm.
Weesmith says, I'm imagining a Forshoot dungeon in the basement with pictures of Jeff, Mike, and Dan, and anyone else they deem to be in Nintendo jail.
Yeah.
There should be a Nintendo jail. It would be pretty good.
No, those batting cages look like cells, so they kind of already have it.
T-Money OG says the life-size King of Red Lions. That I would like. I was thinking about this because Nintendo games in general, especially Zelda, Mario games, they're obsessed with that kind of helper character who has to do all the talking for you because the main characters can't talk. There's a million of them. Even just this year, there was one in the Princess Peach game, and of course, there's one here. And I usually do not like this trope. It's one that I find very annoying. These characters are usually incredibly forgettable. But I do like the King of Red Lions. That was like one time they actually did a good job with that.
Try is D tier.
Yeah, one of the worst ones, you think?
It bothers me a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, I like the HUD element of him or her or it, but it's like that could have actually just been on the HUD. It's not that important.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Just enough times something's happened and then the Try will stop the game to tell me the thing that just happened, and that's getting real old.
I feel like there's like 5 different Mario games, like RPs or things where like there's like something that looks like a star that does this for you. Like I think a couple of the Paper Marios, one of the Mario and Luigi's do, or like there's a suitcase that talked to you in one of the Mario and Luigi's.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, there's just always even Cappy, and like I'm mostly okay with Cappy, even then it's like I don't need Cappy to talk this much. There's always one of these characters in these games, and it's a trope I'm way over.
Same.
Dr. Ryan says a photo spot with the Master Sword in the pedestal, like Link to the Past in the middle of the Lost Woods. Like I want to feel like I'm in the middle of that forest grove. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be neat. Yeah, I mean that seems like something that will maybe be at Nintendo World eventually.
Yeah. Oh, Johnny Boy says an exhibition of their Love Hotel. So Nintendo actually had Love Hotels. Is that what to understand?
I always thought they did. Yeah.
But like Love Hotels, there's not like.
I don't think they're thought of as quite as seedy as I think we would assume motels that you rent by the hour here are. But they are, they're love hotels.
But they're for lovemaking exclusively, and perhaps with people that you can't bring home for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're going to be a Puritan about it, you dumb bitch.
I'm just saying, it just seems like a weird endeavor for Nintendo. I don't know. Maybe I need to go
I think it's like a normal thing to invest in Japan. Is kind of...
It's just like everyone's like, of course, the love hotels. I mean, look, they show up in a lot of Japanese video games. Yeah. It's like the reason why I know what they are, I guess. There's a lot of love hotel content.
I mean, I don't think it's like, making fun of the country. This is true. Their walls are made of thin material there. I think that the idea is if you want to be respectful of the people you live with, you take the person to the love hotel instead, and that's where you do the fornicating. Wow. And then you go home to your family and be respectful there.
It's just a shameful thing to do, so we have to go to the shame building for it.
Exactly.
All right. Chris 2K says an exhibit that shows some of the main steps of how they built one of the classic Zelda dungeons. For example, the Ocarina of Time Deku Tree with schematics and concept art they use. Like perhaps first showing how they decide on a central mechanic, then how they created some related puzzles, combat challenges, how they placed those in specific rooms and connected them, and then deciding on the final layout and visuals. Oh, and a life-size model of Tears of the Kingdom.
We got it. There it is.
There's a lot of stuff about designing video games that I would like to see that I'm not really expecting to see at the Nintendo Museum, which is a shame.
I do want it though, and I 100% want it to be like the scene from Jurassic Park where they have the scientists behind the glass. That would be great.
Yeah.
I just want to see the Nintendo scientists back there, and then I want Dan to be like, "Is this autoerotica?" And then we'll be like, "No."
Now, of course, I love Jurassic Park yet, but it probably won't shock you to learn that I most love the parts where they're just kind of going around a theme park. I'm like,
those are great. To be fair, they really are great scenes.
Yeah. The King of Red Lion says a life-size statue of Thirst Trap Ganondorf, the Tears of the Kingdom version.
Sure, hot.
I wonder how many like photo ops and statues and things like that there are.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like there's some, but again, these are the kinds of things I think do show up at Nintendo World.
Bayleaf Moon says, if there isn't a sadistic moon falling from the roof to obliterate all of humanity, then I'll be disappointed. Yeah, there should be somewhere where that creepy face moon is looking at you. That'd be good.
Do you think, Mike, had Christian not told us that by now we would have been like, sure, a lot of Zelda answers.
Hey, this community loves Zelda. What the fuck do you want me to do? They just love Zelda.
I think there's a chance. I think there's a chance I would not have noticed by now.
I wonder now.
I kind of wish we could run that A/B test. Oh man.
It's like at some point. I see you change the name of the thread.
I don't know what you're talking about. What are you asking?
Hammond of Texas says, I only want to see mainline Zelda games. There are so few Zelda games that aren't mainline to me. I think I'm even generous and allow things like Triforce Heroes on there. But if you don't want to, then that's fine, whatever.
Right,
but
right.
You have to be like Link's crossbow training. Not be a
right. That's the one that comes to
game.
mind for me. And I'm like struggling to think of another one that's not. Yeah.
Right. Like Tetra Challenge or whatever that weird GameCube game was we didn't get over here.
Right.
Like, stuff like that. Let's see. Next up is Matt Lauren, who says, give me all the beta builds they can muster. Those are so cool. So neat to see how the games evolve. Agreed. Shoji Koto said an exhibit on the Lost Woods, which would be a giant life-size labyrinth. If you get lost, you're stuck and can't explore the rest of the museum when they finally let you out at closing time and give you a Skullkin mask as a consolation prize. If you make it to the end, then you're greeted with a room filled with the Gold Edition Zelda console games accessories, where they give you a replica Master Sword as a prize for getting through the woods. Jeff, you lived in Columbus. Do you remember COSI, the science museum
absolutely.
there?
I've been to COSI in Columbus and in Toledo.
I might have told you about this, but like they had a interactive like maze thing there for a while, and it was like heavily themed. There's a lot of like face statues. I forget, it was like Incan or like Maui or something like that. But it was like kind of like a big maze thing with like a bunch of individual challenges. Like one point you had to go through a laser grid. You had to solve puzzles. It was awesome. We loved it. And doing something like that, but Zelda themed, would be incredible.
That would be great. I kind of wish, in Japan, every once in a while, be like, here's the people that just like rent out go-karts and pretend to be the Mario squad or whatever. And Nintendo mostly turned a blind eye. I don't think they do anymore, but they once did that. I wish we'd get that with like haunted houses here, where it's like, here's the Luigi's Mansion haunted house, and here is the Lost Woods corn maze or whatever. That would be fun.
It should be like the Gold Saucer from Final Fantasy VII, where like for some reason the hotel was just haunted house themed.
Yes,
and like things like that. B has Chris Pratt as Link, which is just horrible looking. Kind of looks like a bad Lord of the Rings elf in this weird AI art thing.
Definitely looks like he's into JD Vance for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Osama bin Franklin says an exhibit explaining the Princess Mononoke influence for The Lord of the Mountain and Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, that is like very overt there, but it looks great.
Lots of Ghibli influence. They kind of go back and forth a little bit. Mostly Nintendo being influenced by Ghibli, though.
I mean, when I think about it, I haven't been to the Ghibli Museum, but my impression is it's kind of similar in that it's like it's not a museum how we would think. It is kind of a vibes place in a lot of ways, right?
That's right. Yes, it's like, hey, we want you to get the idea of what it feels like at Nintendo, and that's what they're going for. This reminds me, did watch The Wild Robot with the kids, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. It was very emotional. Really, it's beautiful. It really is like maybe the best looking like CGI 3D animated movie I've ever seen. So that kind of like holds, like it's the one that most, and that's the reason it reminded me of it. And not just because the robot looks like a Ghibli robot. It is as the CGI animated movie that reminds me the most of a Ghibli movie. So it's like, man, we have a strong future ahead of us if this is what movies are going to look like.
And then they'll continue to make significantly less money than Despicable Me 7.
Yeah.
Matt in the Rare Zenless Zone says a working spirit train, which is also how you take guided tours. Oh yeah, every theme park or theme park adjacent thing needs a train. It just makes it better. Velocity Prime 1 says I want a massive scale models of the overall maps from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, ones with intricate dioramas of the towns and characters. Yeah, dioramas are great. I mean, those diorama things they had for the Link's Awakening remake at E3 that year were super, super cute.
Very cool.
Adam JC says a crimped tiny theater that screens the Space World 2001 reveal of the Wind Waker every 15 minutes. Like, I noticed, isn't the museum that's going to have those little stupid tiny theaters? But I wish it was. I love those things.
Yeah, me too. I think Dan's like, they're not gonna have a documentary, a 50-minute documentary. I'm like, I would watch every single one. I watch every single one for like stuff I don't really care about because I'm like, no, now I do. I definitely would do it for this.
I love like stepping into one midway through and you're just kind of sitting there and like at one point it ends and starts. You keep watching it and all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is where I came in, and then you get up and leave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Lewis says a high-end PC running older Zelda games at their better potential. Could you imagine? Adam Juice says deep dive into unused ideas / caught content. Max says Majora's Mask time clock where you only get 72 hours or minutes here to see everything before the world ends and you're checked out. Lenny Astro Dick Denver has a Zelda Blowout featuring Nintendo Direct featuring Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. Oh God, here's our names on this story and everything.
Yep, there it is.
I don't like looking at that.
Yeah, that feels bad.
Move past it. We're gonna move past that. Always Be Clothing. He's got the Star Fox puppets, which I'm shocked apparently aren't in the museum, or at least I think Dan didn't see them.
They have them. I mean, they've shown them in like display cases before somewhere. I can't remember.
Because you have them, and then you have the ones.
Be Clothing. Thank you for understanding the topic. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this when you change the title?
This is today at 8:34 p.m. So it doesn't seem like it. Maybe he knew what we were going for.
Deep Bowling's got Fat Yoshi.
There it is. Yeah, we should have Fat Yoshi everywhere.
Symbiosis has the Breath of the Wild ball tilting puzzles things. Hey, do we having a real life one of those would be amazing. I really liked these shrines. I know some people were not into them. I thought they were fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do like that. I didn't do it, but I like that people cheated them by just turning it upside down and using the flat side. Very cool.
Futsex is a great fairy champagne room. Okay, here it is. It's documented here. Right, 9:55 p.m. is when Christian changed the title to ask about Nintendo Museum, not a Zelda Museum. And of course, the next thing we get is from Christian, and it's this horrifying, hairy, long-legged toad. Oh no!
Was it Brian David Gilbert that was trying to get?
Correct.
Nintendo to retweet this is something like that. Yeah. Nintendo never did. They're cowards.
Kabotsky says, I want to see actual Nintendo jail.
There
you go. And Turbo Sean's a Pyrrha fan also. Look, there she is.
We get it.
She just kind of makes, I think she does just erase young Impa. I'm sorry, everybody.
Yeah, she's doing this. She's got the flute there, and she's kind of doing the thing where she's like being very stern.
Yeah, she's got teacher vibes in a good way. All right, why don't we take another last break here? We'll come back. Let's talk about how we're feeling about that new Zelda game.
Sure, and we got more super chats. We'll do those afterwards as well too.
There you go. Bye. Let's just jump back into it. Yeah. Okay.
Yep, I'm ready.
Do it.
All right, let's do it.
All right, we're back. So Jeff, we talked about this a little bit on the Bombcast, but I know like your maybe first impressions of Tears Kingdom of Echoes of Wisdom were a bit reserved, but you seem to be more on board now.
Yeah, I think it's a game you got to get on its wavelength. I think you got to kind of understand what it's going for, and then you also have to build up a reserve of tools that you fully understand how to deploy so that when you do get in combat scenarios and you don't have any of the swordsman juice left, you feel capable. And that takes a little bit of time, but I'm glad I stuck with it because now that I do have this huge reservoir of abilities and a very powerful summons, I got the ball and chain guy that from Link from Link to the Past that just I drop him everywhere and he just immediately attacks people. He rules, and so I'm just dropping him whenever I get in a fight and kind of letting him fight, and I'm still just walking around collecting stuff, and it's this feels like this is what they were going for in the combat scenarios. Now, for me, though, the game continues to shine as, hey, you have the urge to build up your library of tools, and you also have this huge world because it is 8 times the size of Link's Awakening. Start exploring, and that's been the most rewarding because there are times where it's okay, you come up to a wall, How are you going to get up there? Most of the time now I can use a variety of like very simple tools like the water block and just swim up, and that's great. But when I can't use that, I can combine various stuff and you use birds and meat and stuff like that to get over anything at a certain point, and just kind of feeling like I'm sequence breaking when I'm almost certainly not, and the game is accounting for that, is a really good feeling that they've been doing with a lot of these Zelda games recently, and it shines here, and it kind of just feels like if Link to the Past was a full open world game, what would that feel like? And like a really good one. That's what they've nailed here. And I've not like turned around on it because I was getting it. I was enjoying it to a certain extent. It's just so much better now that I'm 3-4 dungeons in, and there's even like a little bit of a change to the storyline at a certain point. They kind of changed the stakes a little bit, and that kind of has sent me back out into the world in some ways. And all that stuff just feels really excellent. So I'm like fully like when I saw the reviews, I'm like, is this getting a little bit of the Zelda rub? And I thought that was possible in my first blush, where I'm like, this feels like maybe a 3-star game to me. And now I'm like, it's 4 or 5. Like I'm right there. I just really am enjoying it.
Yeah, I know you thought the start was kind of slow and a little talky, which used to be the norm for these Zelda games. And after Breath of the Wild started really fast and Tears of the Kingdom slowed down a little bit, still not nearly as bad as like the worst we got with it with like, you know, Spirit Tracks and Skyward Sword. Has the pacing kind of been better for you?
Yeah, it's picked up a little bit. Yeah. I still don't love, like I was saying, Try. It has a bad habit of explaining the scene that you just watched, and I'm not going to get over that. That's rough. Where it's like, you'll see, like, you know, spoilers, but we've seen Evil Link in the trailers. You'll see Link, and it's like doing something that is abnormal, and then it's like, okay, I get it, and then the scene will stop again, and Try to be like, maybe that wasn't the real Link, and they were doing that. I'm like, yeah, I know. I watched the game. I get what's happening here. This is crazy. Even children will get this. I promise you. So I wish they wouldn't do that so much, but there is less of it as you go, and they do trust you a little bit more. And then the areas where they should trust you the most, which is we've given you these tools, go ahead and express yourself and figure out these problems on your own. They do let you do that. So and that's way more important than a lot of this other stuff. And that is like where the previous Zelda games would have been like, here's some tools and here's how to use them, and we're going to just kind of over-explain everything, and they're not doing that here. So it's not so much a problem anymore, and just every time I'm playing the game, I'm having a great time now.
I'm not particularly far yet. In fact, I haven't even really gotten to the second dungeon yet. I'm still kind of doing the quest stuff in Gerudo before you do that, but I was pretty good with it from the beginning. I got some of those complaints, but even like the combat system, I kind of, you know, I was having enough fun just trying to make it work, even though it is slow and plotting. And it was like, oh, yeah, summoning enemies is kind of a bad way. Or at least the enemies that just, like, you're waiting for them to throw a spear or something. So I was like, well, I guess I better not do that then. At least for now, I will just summon boxes and throw them, or kind of get people to walk into the spikes, or use my, you know, magnet thing to force them into the spike, or catch them on fire, or things like that. And then it does seem like pretty quickly you get much better combat options anyways.
I think that's it. Like I was, that's what happens with me in immersive sims for sure, is when I feel like I'm not being clever, I feel like I'm missing the point. So I won't do the simple, obvious solution, which is what you said, which is just summon a pot and throw it at them. Like you should, that's how you should be starting out the game. Is they give you these basic tools, you should just be summon a pot, throw it at the enemy, and move on with your life. And as you'll get the stuff that makes a combat much more interesting very quickly if you just get through that early part. So yeah, I hope most people go that route. I think most people will. I think I definitely have a weird habit of trying to make games more challenging for myself, so they'll be the most interesting versions of themselves. And sometimes you just got to break that and play the game and use the most simple answer all the time, because you'll very quickly get some more interesting stuff that turns out this is the most simple answer and it rules. And that's where I'm at right now.
Anything else about Zelda? Or anything else you want to just get the rest of these super chats?
Guys, real quick, please. Because following the discussion me and Mike had about the game on Thursday, and then both you guys are farther in the game, I do have a question for you guys on how you're feeling about it right now.
Yeah, please.
Is this a Zelda game?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's definitely has.
In what way?
Well, you don't play as Link, so how could it possibly be a Zelda game?
Oh, is this? That's cute. No, it's clear. No, it's playing as Zelda obviously makes more sense, and she just kind of has Link style controls, whereas Yoshihiko's doing completely different things. Yeah, it's a Zelda
Platforming.
game.
Yeah.
Platform.
I can see how you
different
get
moveset.
Okay, sure.
You're really that strong on Team Yoshi's Island as a core Mario
you're trying
game.
to rewrite history, dude. You got to pick a lane on this.
Nintendo rewrote history, actually.
Exactly, they did. They retconned it.
This is clearly this is a Zelda game. I get what you're going for. I think if we had an offshoot where it was like, and now here's the Zelda story, and we got like 5 more sequels, maybe I could reassess. But in the moment, clearly, yes. Now, and I think this is how I felt at the time about Yoshi's Island, where I'm like, sure, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, whatever. I didn't think about it all that much back then.
Just remembering this conversation for next time we have this talk on the Bombcast.
Listen, I'm just glad that he stopped fucking saying 3D World wasn't a Mario game. That's all I ever really. That made me want to fucking shoot a wall. Like, I was so mad at him.
That's justifiable, yes.
Yeah, I think just a lot. I mean, there's a lot of variety in the world, and if I think if people do end up feeling like I did and how Dan did and how like Jason Schreier was saying he does, get past Gerudo Valley and then do some exploring right then, and you don't have to necessarily go to the waypoint. Just kind of go in a direction and find interesting stuff, and you probably will, and you'll probably get some tools that you shouldn't have yet, and that makes the game even more fun. And I think then you'll kind of like build up some momentum, and you'll be able to take that into the next quest line, and then use the warp zones when you're doing quests. Because just warp from back and forth, make that stuff go as quickly as possible. Not that it's bad. It's I think it's pretty good, because I enjoy the way that they have sort of taken the dungeon elements of solving puzzles and making things work together and sort of spread it out just from the dungeon, and now it exists in the overworld with the characters as well. I enjoy that. I think they did a good job with that.
All right, do you want to do the rest of the super chats here before we call it?
Yeah, let's see here. I didn't do this. Laser Wolf, you're a little guy. Okay, here we go. From Dream Eater. Checking out this song Cut Man by the legendary Nintendo Core Act Horse the Band. There's a clip from The Wizard in the intro. Okay, yeah, I we'll check that out. That sounds very good. I feel like I probably have heard it before because is it Cutsman? Or is it Cutman?
Cutman's the name of the boss from Mega Man 1.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That's why I read it that way. But he wrote here Cutsman. But either way, I'll check it out. Sounds good. Laserwolf says, Jeff, as a fellow displaced Michigander, do you miss Coney Island restaurants as much as me? And Mike, do you even know what a real Coney Island is?
Well, we had Coney Island restaurants here. Gosh, there was one still at the mall for a while until very recently. We had a standalone one even. So yeah, it was a hot dog place, and they had good chili dogs. I remember really liking their fries, and they had like vinegar very ready for it. That's where I got my taste for malt vinegar and fries.
Yeah, that's all correct, and I think that's also where I got my taste for vinegar, and now it's one of my favorite foods. Yeah, I love Coney Island. I love their chili dogs. Yeah, for sure. I wish there was one around me. Maybe I haven't looked for one in a long time. From Antonio Morales again, at the NXT show, CM Punk just gave us free pizza.
That's it's funny because when I saw CM Punk at some kind of Columbus might have been Chicago. No, it was a Chicago Comic Con. So of course he was there, and there was a panel with him, and he did bring pizza. Right, so it's a good move, but it's a movie does. I do appreciate it, although the pizza was gone by the time it got to me, so I was kind of upset.
Of course. Oh man, that'd be disappointing. Screaming Madden says, real quick, since the Raiders beat the Browns, did Mike Minotti lose to Mike McQuanchi? Mike McQuanchi's definitely a Raiders fan.
God, I don't know if I'm following the logic here.
Well, I mean, Mike McQuanchi is black and white, and like he would look like he would be at home in the Raiders, and the Raiders,
yeah.
What are they called?
The Browns really fucking blew that one, by the way. It was great.
Yeah, Browns having a rough season.
I just want to think about the Guardians.
Yeah, football is such a weird sport where it's like being good never lasts that long unless you're like a very rare team. Willow Davis says, if Nintendo ever brings back old school 3D Zelda with dungeons, I demand a 5+ hour unskippable intro, at least 4 hours before conflict even enters the story. Yeah, sure, Willow Davis, but they'll go back to that eventually. You'll get that. Don't worry.
Yeah, someday. Won't that be great?
I don't remember Twilight Princess's intro bothering me the way it did some people, but
Really?
yeah,
It's pretty long.
I think I liked stopping the goats or whatever it was. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, that didn't bother. Some people really hated the goat herding. That didn't bother me necessarily a whole ton.
Yeah.
But it was definitely like, as much as I have Wind Waker, like its intro feels a little bit long sometimes, and then Twilight Princess was longer than that, and then Skyward Sword was longer than that. It was just kind of, so it was getting ridiculous. So of course they finally reined it in there.
Yep. Mike, that does it for the super chats.
Alrighty, fantastic. Thank you everybody so much. We're out of here.
Yeah, I'll hit the button.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's
there
hit that button. There is,
remember, Lunchables, they're trying to pull the wool over your eyes. Oh, what's this on the screen? What do you want? What do you want most to have as an exhibit at the Zelda Museum or Nintendo Museum?
Sometimes you simply know when you just recorded the worst podcast in history. We did it, everybody.
Yep.
We did it. I got my clickbait title about boring Zelda games that I actually like.
Hell yeah!
Podcast. We killed it today.
That's how you do it.
Game Blight Club tomorrow. Hopefully, Fishing Alone in the Dark. New 90s Disney is out about Rescuers Down Under, so please check that out, everybody. Jeff, anything else going on?
Yeah, Game S Morning's back tomorrow. Might miss Thursdays. There's some doctor stuff. Nothing to worry about, but just got to organize some stuff with getting people to things that I'll have to drive them to. All right, everyone. Thanks. Bye.
It won't happen again.
It better not. No, it's fine.
It's gonna happen again multiple times.
All right, Jeff. We'll do each other here.
Okay.
Yeah. Those are great liquid explosions.
That's all the story.
My thing to say.
I love to whack off to Crystal.